All right, so another wonderful day here with my dear friend, Miss Lynn Schmaltz with Plasma Energy Solution. And, Lynn, we always have a lot of fun before we start the calls. So I'm kind of glad we get to chit chat, catch up, have some fun. And here we are already in May. It's like we do calls once a month, but it's like every time I turn around, another month has just like flown by again. So, how you doing? Nice to see you.
You know what? I'm doing great, Sean. And before the call, I told you that my very special sidekick Stephanie has moved back to Minnesota, Montana, Minnesota. They thought her husband was going to retire sooner, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So instead of trying to, I think the traveling is getting a lot sketchier and more difficult. So, you know what? It's all good. It's
That's all good.
yeah, it's just all part of our lives, and it was a real treat to have a mother daughter, but not be the mother with a little girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just real special. Um, so on that note, I want to tell you that we have a new formula that I call happiness support, and that it just came out this week. And what I want to suggest to people is, I think there's, first of all, I said, have you ever had such a happy time that you just wanted to bottle it up and put it in a jar and save it? And those can sometimes be a little elusive, or
Hmm.
maybe we get so much going on that they're hard to remember. So what I suggest to people that I do, first of all, I made a deliberate choice several years ago to cover the TV in my house. It had a very beautiful scarf on it, and I was looking at it, about 8 months ago, and I thought I have a better use for the scarf, and I don't take it off of the TV, and I have a better use for that shelf. So I checked with some neighbors, and I said, "You guys want a TV and a DVD player? Gone, done." It was, and so and the reason I did that is because there's a lot that people watch that get them stewed up in fear and anxiety and anger. And
Hmm.
you know what? It's probably something you can't do anything about
Right.
except get in a stew. And then the other thing I said is break patterns that take away your happiness. And a good way
Hmm.
is to start a new pattern. And one thing I like to do is start the day with an inspirational reading. And that can be it can mean anything to anybody. I think God hears all voices. It doesn't matter um, what you're reading for or what your slant is. And then a third thing I do is, um, well, I did say be selective when you watch TV and movies, because there's a lot of subliminal messages that are coming
Hmm.
across. And I don't think they say love your neighbor and love yourself. Pretty sure. And finally, here's things I look for every day: something to be grateful for, something of beauty to appreciate, and something to laugh about. And that's it's pretty basic, but with our happiness formula, I wanted to do a combination of things. And really, somebody might say, well, okay, why do you have things that have detox in them or something like that? Well, all of this is going to support your body. And when your body feels better, it's easier to be happy, right? So some of the energies I borrowed from other things included anxiety, be brave, energy balancer, life force, new tech frequency relief, peace, positive energy support, soul support, super immune with Pine Plus support, and DNA support. And then, of course, there's always the extra energies I put in from different vitamins, supplements, minerals, herbs, and so it's quite a combination of things. And again, you just set it up like all the other plasma energies. You're going to set that vial up on your source jar, and that jar should be with filtered or distilled water. I get a lot of questions about different kinds of water. Sean, you've gone off the screen.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I am intentionally doing that so that I can
Oh,
show you this wonderful jar that
oh,
I've got, my
fabulous.
plasma energy. This is mine. I set this on the counter,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
that's
you can see that I've got the vials, and I've got two of these jars. In fact, this one needs to be filled back up again, a glass jar, and you just tape the vials right on there. This is my one of my mother stations, but
That's awesome. And I want to point something out to people because I get a lot of questions. What if it has a metal spigot? That's okay. What if it has a metal lid? That's okay. What if it's on a metal stand? That's okay. But it can't have metal walls. You want the energies to go through clear plastic or clear glass. Some people get the giant 5-gallon water containers. And I said, as long as you can see inside of the container, that's okay.
mhm,
Because a lot of
right,
those are kind of a blue tint. So,
right.
yeah, thank you for showing that because that's a great way to set it up. When things have a spigot on it, I think people use it more.
And Lynn, the other thing about that, just to show you one other thing, which you also commented on, is at the top, it's the mason jar top. So
Okay.
I fill it up and then boom, I can drop it down and seal it. And I think we discussed in the past that you want something that's going to seal so you're not letting dust and stuff get into this. And this for me is super handy. So I go over, fill up these 3-gallon water jugs. And then like right now it's half full. So tonight before I go to bed, I'll fill it back up to the top. But then when I'm using it during the day for coffee, water, I literally have a glass cup right behind it. So I can just bring it to the front, drink it, set it right behind there. That way I'm not constantly going through so many glasses. Um, and I've got two of these actually. And now Aubrey is super excited, my coworker, because now she's got one. But this container, 2.5 gallons, was only $20, and I got it at Walmart. Um,
Great.
so they're really easy to get your hands on. They're super easy to work with. Just putting a glass. I also put the little, I'm kind of old school. I still have the little coffee pot that I put on and let it, make the little choo choo sound. Oh, it's time and it's ready. But I fill that one up with it as well. So it's a really great way to do it. I don't have my spray bottles here, but I do have spray bottles also that I'll use around the house. I'll use in various different places around the windows and different things. There you go.
Yeah.
And so for right now, for me, we're getting into the summer months. I'm in Virginia. This is a great opportunity to spray the doorways and things so the little ants, they can go kind of find some food somewhere else. I usually, and I'm totally a nutcase, and I'll never deny that. But I'll literally talk to the ants and say, "Hey guys, there's food over here. Please just don't come in the house. I appreciate you stayed out. However, just to give you a little added incentive, I'm going to just put a little plasma water around here to just kind of keep you on that side of the fence, so to speak." That's actually a great way to segue into this call, which we do eventually on all of our calls. What is plasma energy water? How does it work? What are the benefits? Well, basically, it is water that's infused with plasma energy, which goes through the process of using a GANS, which is gas in an atomic nano solid state. And through that process, it infuses that energy into that water. The water is able to retain memory. So the beauty about what we're doing is, number one, it's so incredibly cool, but we learn a lot about some of the things around us that we don't know much about. And water can retain memory. So when water is infused with this plasma energy, in fact, I was going to bust these out later, but now I've got them here. 3 new vials that you sent me. But basically, once you get this vial, I'll just put one up here. Once this vial comes and you put it on the side of that container, that glass container, it'll charge water the rest of your adult life. You buy it one time. And as Lynn, as you were just saying, each one has different additional frequencies put into it. So you get the plasma energy but then you add these additional frequencies, which we were just talking about happiness, which I absolutely love that. You just so kindly sent me soul support. So I've got soul support, I've got dream big, and I've got energy balance. And then over here, I've got life force. I know I've got Superman. I mean, I've got all these, and they all add a little bit of different additional frequency. And I've been traveling a lot lately. I will tell you that when I'm not drinking plasma energy water, sometimes it's a little tough for me to bring it on the road. I can definitely notice a difference. Like right now, it's 4:30 East Coast time. I've been working since 7 and I'm fully energized. And like I said, this is all my little this is my mud water, is all plasma energy water. So it's
Sean,
such a phenomenal product.
yeah, and something I would suggest when you're traveling, find a vial, like kind of a travel vial, maybe a little bigger like this, and
Okay.
put water in from your several stations. It's okay to combine them because your body's only going to use energies that it needs at any
It
given
needs,
time.
right.
And then
Hmm.
if you just have a jug of water or something that you carry with you, just dump
Hmm.
this in it. And if you use up that
Good
jug,
idea.
do
Yeah,
another one.
idea.
So that might be something to help you with traveling because it's the energy is really subtle, and because we use it all the time, when we step back from it for some reason, then you don't notice it. You're just kind of a little less each day, a little
Yeah.
less, and you go, oh man,
I'm
I
really sluggish. Yeah.
yeah. So now this time of year, you can see in the bottom of the happiness, there's a glass vial with a lid. Once we stop having freezing nights, then I'll send glass vials again. But it doesn't
Hmm.
matter where you live, even if you live somewhere warm. I live somewhere cold, and we don't want it to
Give me
arrive.
just a sec, Lynn, just a sec. Miss Kitty, come over here. Also, for your pets, the cat
Yeah.
over here, she loves it, but we use it on the plants. These plants have actually been in here. These flowers have been here for 3 weeks.
Oh,
And guess who else is enjoying the plasma energy water is Miss Kitty.
uh-huh.
So it's good for your plants. It's good for the pets. It's good for everything. She's doing a cameo appearance today. I know your cat will probably be in the shot before the end of the show, but I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
since
that's
she
good.
just jumped up and started doing her thing, I just had to throw that in there.
I'm glad you did because you know, our pets really do benefit from it. And one of the cats I have is her world is full of anxieties and loud noises, just send her over the top. She won't go outdoors. She'll venture out to an enclosed deck that I have. And with a little coaxing, knowing that she can make a run for it if she has to back into the house. But I put
Right.
anxiety relief in. They have different water dishes and a couple fountains that they hijacked. And I just put the glass vials in the bottom of those. And when
Right.
I added anxiety, it really did help her. It's there's less wide-eyed jumping and hissing, and I mean, she's 13.
Yeah.
So she's been
That's
happy
funny.
for
Well,
a long time.
a healthy 13 too, right?
What's that?
She's healthy at 13.
Yes, extremely. Both cats are, and the other one's a real mischief maker, and she loves to go outside once she can. There's no more snow berms and stuff, so I
Yeah.
think she's outside napping on the enclosed deck,
Yeah. That's
which
awesome.
I call it Costa Rica.
Yeah. That's her nickname, Costa Rica?
No, my deck is Costa Rica.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Costa Rica and Montana. So
That's quite the difference. I mean, that's one extreme to the other, from the mountains to the jungle.
right. So
That's funny.
it's the illusion of warmth and green and running water when there's snow and cold and ice.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to just circle back just a second to talk about, we know it so well. We've been doing these videos now for probably a little over a year and a half, I want to say, maybe longer. So we know the stuff very well. And, I get new people on the channel. So just for those people that are kind of coming in that might not have seen our videos before, the water gets infused with the plasma energy. You put these little vials on the side. It'll charge that water the rest of your adult life, basically forever, but your adult life. Once the water in the container is charged, you can actually pour it into your own vial and give it out to your friends and family. So once that water is charged, and it takes about, we'll say about 10 hours. So as I was just saying, tonight before I go to bed, I'll fill up the rest of my container. Tomorrow morning when I come in, all the water will be fully charged. And if I had a friend or a family member that I said, hey, you need to start using this, I could just get a little glass vial, pour it up, put it in there, and they could get it, and it would have the same quality and the same properties as the vial that I've got on here. Now, what is it being used for? Well, we're talking today about happiness, and we're talking about it's great for agriculture, plants, gardens, water your plants. A lot of people, Lynn, use this for stiffness, soreness, arthritis. So they can literally spray it on Band-Aids, put the Band-Aids on the stiff or sore part of their body. It helps with that. There's formulas that you've developed that are good for the eyes, which I just recommended some of that for somebody that has some eye issues. I said, get the plasma energy water. You put in eye drops, you can use it for that. I use it obviously for a lot of energy and normal health, like life force, dream big, soul support, which gets into your aura, which we were just talking about. We were doing that before the call, though. I guess we haven't done it since we started recording. But your biofield, your energy fields, your aura, with being your plasma energy body. And so not necessarily worrying about bad health or something that's wrong. And there's a lot of stuff that's there for that. There's a lot of stuff that's there to address a myriad of health issues. I think when we did our video, we went through all the different varieties. There's about 60 different plasma energy varieties, always new ones coming out. But maintaining good health, maintaining energy. So this is a product that you want to incorporate into your daily lifestyle, get it into your friends, your family. Miss Kitty just did her cameo appearance, but there's one just for cats. There's one just for dogs. I think the last one we did with Stephanie, we were talking about other ones that are there for agricultural, for your garden and different things. And because it's plasma energy, there's a lot of stories, but this literally creates a energy field around your house. So when tornadoes and storms and stuff are hitting, which is also plasma energy, that plasma energy field is sort of giving it a barrier to sort of move around the plasma energy field that you've set up. And it's good for repelling insects. I mean, we've got testimonials with people that have basically used it as a mosquito repellent that have been super happy with that. And I've talked about that in previous videos, being from Minnesota, growing up on the Mississippi River, where you've got a lot of sloughs and a lot of marshland, and mosquitoes will pick you up and literally carry you right off. But just so many uses. And it's Lynn, I always say this, but the reason I love it so much is that you get so much value for such a small amount of money, and the various different solutions that you create. You always send me this comes with every single one, which is basically a full documentation of all the things that are in the plasma energy water. And I know it's backwards. This is just soul support. And you can list and read off. There's about 50 things that have been put into that GANs, into that container with all those energies that's now in the plasma energy water. And Lynn, as you just said a minute ago, your body only takes the frequencies that it needs, right? So if there's frequencies in there, let's say as an example, I have one on there for Alzheimer's. Thank God in heaven I don't have Alzheimer's, but I would still get the plasma energy from it. But the frequencies for Alzheimer's would pass through my body because I don't have Alzheimer's. So you don't necessarily. Do you want to
Yeah,
say? Go ahead.
let me interrupt real quickly there. When I did Alzheimer's, but it's a very similar formulation for autism, really. And I had a woman who ordered some and ordered the energy station and the autism relief and a couple of other things. And she has sent me just some of the nicest testimonials on how things really turned around for herself and her. Oh, I think her son is probably 19 or 20 and
Hmm.
starting to be a real handful for her. And she said their quality of life is so much better. And she has a group of people she's worked with. So several of them, and I wasn't aware of this till one of the others ordered from me and said, by the way, I'm working with this group of people. And so we're all taking turns ordering different formulas and sharing them with one another. And that's the great thing about it, because what you share with someone or what this group shares is the same strength as what I sent you or them. It's the same
Hmm.
strength as what I have here. It doesn't diminish as it goes out the door, out my door to your door and your door to someone else's. It maintains the energy, the memory, and the intention. So
Right.
that's a great thing about it. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was just such a nice thing for that woman and her son, and for the other people that it's also helped out.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about that is you really start getting into talking about a lot of the different plasma energy waters for a lot of these different things. And I know Dr. Paul did it for diabetes, and certainly now diabetes is it's a very popular topic because it's really obviously it's a very vast subject now that's basically made its way into the mainstream as far as so many people now dealing with issues with diabetes. But Dr. Paul, who really kind of helped work with you to get this founded and get this technology out there and researched it and found, I think it was Dr. Keshe, the physicist from Iran, who is still around actually, brilliant, just an incredibly brilliant guy that figured out that this process could be done. And I believe that there might even be other applications or there might be other ways, but plasma energy and just understanding the um, the molecular structure, how incredibly amazing water is to retain memory. And it's living water, actually. It's conscious living water, which, I've been doing videos with that with Native American Indians and indigenous people. And I mean, the amount of stuff that I never knew that I'm learning now at 57 years old would basically, I'm like a little kid. I mean, I'm amazed. I'm fascinated. I see the world much differently than I did years ago before I really started understanding this. But the most basic thing, like water, and what it can do, and the properties that it has, and how powerful it is, and really starting to understand that and incorporate that into our lifestyle at a whole nother level is something that absolutely is amazing. But you're with the plasma energy water, diabetes, autism, asthma. I mean, there's 60 different things. And then, like I said earlier, maintaining good health. So for me, obviously, one of the first ones I got was Superman. There's Superwoman too, by the way. And then Soul Support, Life Force. I love Life Force. Like I love this. And then I've got my new one here, Dream Big. There's no limit to what you can do. But Lynn, I talk to people every day that are really messed up. You do, I know you do too, because a lot of them I send to you. And they say, here's Lynn's website, contact her. She's wonderful. She'll get back to you. Um, but
Sean,
there's
that's, and I'll interject something here, because neither you or I are medical personnel, and we're not
right.
diagnosing or anything. And the really great thing is the video we did where we went just through all the products. And so I can tell people when they give me a litany of things, why don't you go to the product page and just scroll through it and see what resonates with you? And I think that's a great way to let people be proactive and not, well,
That's right.
here I am. But for instance, the diabetes that's a very interesting situation, because when Dr. Paul started out working with all of this, because he was type 1 diabetic, he was always going to have to take some insulin. And
Hmm.
but what happened over the years is he was able to reduce the amount of insulin he had to take on a daily basis. And
Hmm.
so he was able to get rid of high blood pressure medication. So there were a lot of subtle improvements. And this is for a man who was diagnosed type 1 diabetes when he was 44 and who had kidney failure when he was 56 and had a kidney transplant 8 years later. So that would have been when he was 64. So, and he also developed cataracts, which a lot of diabetics do have eye issues. And
Hmm.
with the eye formula and with being really persistent, he used it 2 or 3 times a day. He got rid of cataracts using eye drops. And when he
Hmm.
came in one day and he started reading some fine print on a little pamphlet we got in the mail with no glasses, and I said, "Wow, you haven't read anything like that without your reading glasses for a long time." And
Hmm.
that's the kind of stuff you can't do when you have cataracts, and
Right.
you get the situation corrected. So thank you for letting me interrupt with that because that's uh,
Absolutely.
diabetes is an issue that more and more people are having to confront and deal with.
Hmm.
And I always will recommend the basic plasma energy station because of the over 400 energies that are in it. And
That's amazing.
many are very unique
Hmm.
to to what we put together. So
Right.
yeah, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah, it is. And when I always do the same thing. I always tell people use your intuition. And to go back to the original statement, we're not making any claims that it's not obviously medical techno, it's not a medical product. So, if you have a medical condition, consult a physician. These are just alternative things that you might want to look into. But when you start studying energy frequency, you start understanding water, what is plasma energy. When you start really understanding what this stuff is, it's really scientific. It's a physics-based reality. It's not an opinion-based reality. And with those 60 different formulas or those 60 different energies and different SKUs, as I call them, or different varieties, um, you use your intuition, you get the one that your heart basically tells you is the best one for you. And then there's no saying that you have to just get one and that's it. You might get another one a month or two later, and then you might get another one a month or two later, and then it might be a year later, and you're sitting here like with me, and I've got like 8 or 10 of them because I just I keep adding more and more and more. And so the thing I love, and I always say this over and over, pretty much every time we're on the call, you get so much value for such a small amount of money. You're investing, I don't know, the mosquito repellent's maybe $30, and the dog and cat stuff is probably 60, 50, 60, I don't know. But some of this stuff is $200 or $300. It's a one-time investment. Maybe you get a whole station and get, a whole package that's less than $500. It's going to last you the rest of your life. You never have to buy it again. And now you can be a giver and you can create these little vials and give them out to friends and family. So you get so much value. And when we've talked and had so many testimonials over the last year and a half, and some of the ones that really have struck me, and I think this was actually one that I had that I told you about, but it was a woman that was basically on chemo. She was recovering from cancer. She was really messed up. I mean, obviously, her body was, weak and, what have you. And one of the clients that I had sold this to had plasma energy water and gave her some when she came over to the house. So we all have friends, family that come over and visit. It's in a glass container. You're pouring a glass of water. Half the time I give it to my friends that come over. I'm not even talking about. I'm just giving it to them. You need a glass of water. Here you go. That's that. This lady, same thing, but she's like, God, I'm getting all this energy. She came back the next day because she said, this has given me so much energy. I feel so much better. Can I please have some more? So they obviously gave her more water, but they gave her a vial to take with her. And so she was able to take a vial, charge her own water station, create her own plasma energy water. But that was one of those scenarios where they didn't really even talk about it. They just gave it to her and she drank it and immediately could feel energy from it. And immediately the next day was at the door. And I guess they said a little some, but they didn't get too deep into it. But she really felt a noticeable difference and wanted to go back. And they could give her more. They could just pour it, give her whatever she wanted to drink there, put it in a little vial. And then the woman had that and was able to bring that back to her home and then obviously share it with her friends and family because it maintains that potency. So those are the kind of stories that we picked up, because literally we sold to hundreds, if not thousands of people. And, it's just such a great value. It has so many benefits. And, you've had so many great testimonials. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but give us one or two of your favorites that we might not have heard or we have heard.
Okay, I had an email from somebody this week, and she had some people come to do some work in her yard. And she said one of the men was a Native American. And before he left, he stopped her and said, "Your yard has very good energy." And
Mhm.
she's been real diligent about spraying around the perimeter of the house. And I really recommend that people do that. We know the energy fields. When we started with the plasma energy station, the energy fields were they were over 30 feet. Well, and
Mhm.
it did not matter the size of the container.
No.
I tested like a little post-it note pair of patches. It was the
Yes.
same energy as our glass vials. So that was, and then we added several things that enhanced the energy. So I'm thinking that by this time, the one thing we added was a Korean salt GANs that is from a very special place that has everything on the periodic table. Well, that when I was measuring it, I think I went back 57 feet, and then I ran out of space because I was at somebody else's yard against their wall. And so when you go around you can spray your outside walls on the inside of your house, but then I just take a big garden sprayer, and it's time for me to do that again. I don't necessarily have to, because I do believe the energy is there once it's there. um,
Right.
I just do it for me, right?
Mhm.
So I'll just go around and spray with that. I've experienced what you did, when you tell the ants, you all can live somewhere else. I'm going to spray the threshold so you don't come in. And so far, I have seen one fly in the house, and it was at the cat was looking at the back door curtain, and I pulled it back, and there was a fly there. I left the door open for a while, and I never saw the fly again. They want to
Mhm.
leave. I don't have a
Yeah.
fly swatter, Sean, but
Yeah.
another nice testimonial I had, a woman contacted me and she said, "I had some friends who stayed with me, and they gave me some of your plasma energy water, and they had gotten it from somebody else. And so she said, I wanted to go to the source." And so then she started looking everything up, and she said she was just blown away by the fact that I had sent it to someone, and that someone had given it to someone else, and they had given her some, and it still had all the energy in it. And
Mhm.
she said that really captured my attention. And so
Mhm.
that was really that was a nice sharing from her that I had. So I would encourage you, if a lot of people like to combine peace and mosquito relief. I believe peace is $27, mosquito relief is 17. And they like to combine those two and spray them around. And there's been a lot of people who have told me, I just don't have the flying insects trying to carry me
Mhm.
away that I used to have. So it's a
Right.
time of year to talk about it. We also have the garden essentials, which this is a good time of year, and that's a new product that we have on the website. And Sean,
Hmm.
I always have specials on the homepage. So, for instance,
Hmm.
the happiness went up, and I have specials with it. Let me see. I probably Here we go. Happiness support by itself, you can save $40. So it would be a total of 187. You can get happiness support and heavenly thunderbolt together and save $107. Or you can get happiness support in the plasma energy station and save $117 on those two. So I like to kind of, combine items to give people an opportunity for a savings. And I do that every month with somebody wrote me one day and said, well, do you know what your special is going to be next month? And I said, I don't know it until I'm under the gun and it's okay, it's time. You got to figure what you're doing.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
I
well, on that note, we'll take requests. So if anybody's out there and they have any requests for what they want to see on sale for June, just get a hold of Lynn and give her some suggestions, and she'll take that into consideration.
There you go, Sean. That's a great idea. So, and there are still other specials on the homepage just besides what I've said. So, and Sean, anybody that you're working with, they can use your USAmedbed coupon word and get 15% off. Now, I don't do double dipping, so if something's on special, um,
Hmm.
they may not get the extra 15%, but I always ask them how they heard about me, just because I want to know if they heard about me through you and
Right.
follow up that way. So,
Yeah. And Lynn, I have a lot of stuff. The USA MedBed website, we've got all kinds of technology on there. And some people might come to me for, product A or product B, and they'll always say, well, what is the best thing for me? But the best thing, honestly, is to layer as many different things into your lifestyle as possible. The minute you're relying on one technology or one thing to be the end all solution, that's not really, I don't promote that. I don't advocate that. And as a person that's in living real time, that's using all this technology myself, I've got everything. Like you just saw the plasma energy water, but a lot of the stuff that I offer and sell, I'm using it on a daily basis. And, you know, thank the Lord in heaven, my health is actually pretty good. I mean, I'm still working out, I'm still doing my thing. I don't really feel like I've slowed down all that much. I mean, I really haven't. The only thing that's slowing down is my mental discipline, because I find that I've gotten a little lazier at times. But if I really need to push myself, I can pretty much do anything I have done. But the main thing that I'm always telling people is it's just as important to maintain good health as it is to start sourcing this stuff out when something goes sideways. And you can't really put a value on your health until you don't have it. And for those people where it has gone sideways, this is something that for healthy or not or whatever, you want to layer this into your lifestyle. You're going to drink water every day. That's quite evident. I mean, we understand that water is essential for survival, but if you're going to drink water, the highest quality water with the best, with the best potential for maintaining and giving you good health, is just absolutely, one of the things that you've got to do. And Lynn, as you said earlier, you were so kind. I mean, I work with a lot of companies. We sell a lot of products, but when you check out on Lynn's website, if you put in USA MedBed at the checkout code, you save an additional 15% on your order. That doesn't coincide with any existing sales, but that still adds up. And there's so many different products to start with. Just pick one out, start using it, share it with your friends, share it with your family. If you have stiffness, soreness, arthritis, bad aches and pains, you spray it on band-aids, put two on one side, one on the other. It literally runs that plasma energy through the bad elbow, through the knee, through the bad, when we've gone through this, a lot of testimonials on that. You can spray that plasma energy on the band-aids. It'll never leave the band-aids, or spray it on your clothes. put it in the wash. Well, I did that video where I'm running around in the house and I'm putting it in the washing machine when the clothes are in soak mode. All those clothes will maintain that plasma energy. Spraying it on the bed, spraying it on the floor, spraying it on the couch where I sit and hang out. Probably spend way too much time, but I do. There's people like that out there, like me. But do that. You're getting the plasma energy through the different parts of your furniture and the different parts of your environment. And then obviously, I like the fact you brought up the Native American person. I mean, those people are so smart, so intuitive. They can feel that energy. It's part of their culture. I've got a whole series of videos I'm doing talking about Native American people and how amazing they are and their culture and the fact that they understood how to use and work with plasma energy in so many different ways, which gets into your intention. Focusing your thoughts on intention is literally creating a plasma energy tornado. Your aura is plasma energy. Tornadoes and storms are plasma energy. Um, there's actually ley lines that go through the earth that are plasma energy fields. So plasma energy is basically all around us. In fact, plasma energy comprises 99.9% of the universe. The sun is actually plasma energy. So part of this is incorporating it into your lifestyle. The other part of it, which I find, like I said, like a little kid, is learning about it and understanding it and saying, wow, this is amazing. It's very cool. I never knew anything about it, but yes, in fact, I'm going to start incorporating this into my lifestyle. And as I've said repeatedly on this call, it's just such a great value for such a small amount of money. So if you are going to call me, if you're on USAmedbed's website, you don't even have to ask me. The answer is yes, you do want plasma energy water. I always put it on the website, so it'll be down below me, and I'll edit that and I'll put the USAmedbed code on there. But Lynn, before we sign off today, I'd love to throw it back to you. Give what anything you want to say or anything you want to add, and we'll kind of start wrapping it up. What do you think?
Well, because we didn't cover anything on it, I would remind people that we also have the shungite pendants, and I happen to
Mhm.
have. I wear the large one a lot, and today I've gone overboard, and I have large and small together. But the shungite, the Russian and Japanese research showed that shungite mixed with silver, and then we mix it in with our plasma energies, the stones will add another dimension to it. And these are very good in when you're in an environment with a lot of EMFs and Wi-Fi. We're in an electronic soup, everybody. So
Yeah.
this is really a big help. And I wear mine 24/7. Now I don't wear the big guy 24/7, but I wear the small one version or another of a small one, even when I'm sleeping. So I do recommend those highly. And new tech frequency relief is one of the things that has the shungite in it. Shungite comes from Shunga, Russia. It's the only place it comes from. Probably all the minerals and everything on the periodic table, and probably more, most likely came from a meteor because it's
Hmm.
unique to that single area. So
Hmm.
um, I just like to encourage people to really take a look at what we have to offer. And
Yeah.
some people like to build their plasma pantry. I think that's a great idea, especially as we're looking at somewhat wonky supply chain issues. So I just say have your backup plan in place. And
Hmm.
that's what I think our plasma energy is, as well as the daily usage item. It's there for a backup because it is something you can share with other people for well-being.
Right. Yeah. So, and I wear my Shungai pen at 724. I absolutely love it. It is on the same page that has the plasma energy, the different varieties. So it's
Right.
on there. It's a little bit down towards the bottom because it does come up under Shungai pennant and everything in there is alphabetical order. But Lynn, those are very reasonably priced. Like I think I want to say those are like 65, $70. they're really not that expensive. And the other thing that you've done with these is you put a magnet in the back of them.
Yes,
So
I forgot to
you've
mention
got
that.
that little circle right there, but that's a magnet. It really connects to your body and your aura, your field. Um, and then you get it. I mean, we could go into the crystals. We're just talking about the shungite, but this thing has, 4 or 5 different crystals on it as well, and different gemstones. Mine has 5. Each one of
Right.
those is a frequency, and I'm huge into crystals, like huge into crystals. And I mean, what's really crazy, and I'm telling you, I go off into subjects, and I'm not worried about people thinking I'm crazy. I'll be the first one to say I'm crazy, but crystals are frequency and they're very powerful, and extraterrestrials are very, they use them a lot. And I have crystals all over my house, but when they're talking about interdimensional travel and a lot of stuff that they're doing with off planet technology, crystals play a very important role in that. So it yeah, and
I
I've
have,
got
yeah.
big, yeah, I've got big chunks of amethyst myself. In fact, give me just a sec.
Yeah, I enjoy a lot of the different crystals myself and have quite a few around the house, and sometimes I move them around. I was able one time to go to a quarry where they did rose quartz, and I was able to get several boxes of rose quartz, and they weighed, oh, Sean, those are lovely.
And I
They're
have a couple more that are even bigger than this. And I
nice.
literally, like, I'm in the process right now of buying more, but when one thing I'm going to leave you with, and I'll have to get you one of these. This is really cool right here. This is basically sacred geometry. This is a tensor coil. This is a red, a red agate. It's a very rare stone, but you
Okay.
have this inner circle that basically takes the power of the crystal, amplifies it, and then the outer part of the crystal sends the energy of the crystal in all directions about 150 feet. And I've got at least 8 of these things in my house with every different crystal. And what's crazy, and I am crazy, I buy these things to sell them, and then I get them out of the box. I'm like, I can't sell that. I'll buy more for people, but I cannot sell this. And then what I figured out about a year ago is that I can stack these things. So when you go into my house, you'll find that I've got an amethyst stacked on a rose quartz, stacked on a lapis lazuli. I'm big into crystals, and it's all energy, it's all frequency stuff. And some people will get it, some people won't. I understand if you think I'm crazy, I get it. I'm good with that. But I love this stuff. And eventually, when I have the money, I'm literally going to have completely surrounded my bedroom with this stuff, and I'll be literally laying in a crystal thing. Now, I'll probably be single the rest of my life because most women are going to look at me and say, this guy is completely out of his tree. It won't be that bad, but but I'm really serious. Like, crystals really do have a lot of power, and the more I learn about those, and in fact, they are conscious. You can manifest stuff with with crystals. They're conscious living energy, just like water and other things that I never knew that. I was always into crystals, but what I'm learning about crystals in the last year, since I've sort of gone into this deep dive with energy frequency based technology. Oh, good. We got some more stuff coming.
I
As long
think
as you're doing that, let me grab a couple more.
so, Sean. I had to get the cousin, your amethyst's cousin,
So this is, oh my God, that's beautiful.
and I've had this, and I have a bigger one. I've had this since the early 2000s, and it's all
That
copper.
is amazing.
It's a take on what
So,
you have there.
you know what? So I've got those as well. Now, not as nice as yours, but I do have those. And now these are all handmade. Like, this one here
Right.
is the amethyst. That is such a deep, beautiful color too. Um, and here's one right here. But like I was saying earlier, I said, okay, I can start stacking these things. And so I literally stack them.
Oh,
And now
nice.
I've got all these energies from all these crystals. But, Lynn, what I did with the one that you've got over there is
Uh-huh.
I basically put this in the base, I put this inside it.
Yeah.
So I put a stone inside it because the same concept applies where you're using sacred geometry. And what's amazing is that this was technology that these guys were figuring out 100 years ago. Okay, put these toys down and start getting back to reality, sir. Um, this was technology that they figured out 100 years ago, and they were using it for agriculture, and the plants were absolutely growing twice as fast. Documented science. Now, somewhere along the way, the technology sort of went faded out and didn't make it, whatever. But
Sean, there's a
that's
lot
very
out there,
powerful.
right? Yeah, there's a lot out there right now about electro culture and using the coiled wire around, say, a wooden garden stake, or if you had a copper rod, then you would do copper coils. And there's a lot of people are showing this with their gardens, and they're getting amazing production increase.
Amazing production.
Yeah,
And this is all documented science, but you're taking the power of these crystals and you're basically amplifying them and sending them in all directions, at least 150 feet on some of the larger units, because they come like that one you've got is beautiful because that's a big one. The ones that I've got here are 6-inch, 8-inch, and 9-inch. But these tensor coils and that technology is very cool, very cool. But I've got a couple like that one you've got, and I put them around like big pieces like this because it literally does take that energy and amplifies it out. So
that's a
Lynn,
great
we've done it
idea.
once again. I said, let's wrap it up. We're gonna and then I just went off and just put another 15, 20 minutes of stuff in there. But
Well,
that's the
Sean,
beauty. Go
you
ahead.
and I can get off in the weeds real easily, and we lost Stephanie, who would kind of reel us back in. But that's okay. Where the weeds is a good place to be. So
It
we're
is, and that's kind of the nature of me. I always tell people, they say, can you just do a short video? And I say, well, they always do start out short. Unfortunately, I just have a tendency to talk a lot. And then I get excited about this stuff because I really do love it. I mean, it's not intellectual property, it's emotional property, and I just really love it. But
Sean,
um
I'll make a suggestion with your with this shape and in putting crystals in there. Also put a jar of plasma water in there.
yes.
Yeah,
And also a plant, depending on how big your plant is.
sure. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll have to report on
Well,
how we're doing next month
yeah,
with our plants
exactly.
and stuff.
So if anybody has any suggestions for Lynn on specials for June, reach out to her, plasma energy solution at Gmail. Although I'm going to have your proton mail also, we'll put that on there. But yeah, on my website, on the USAmedbed website, we do have a link that goes directly to your products page. And so once again, don't forget you use the USAmedbed. If you're out there, you're watching the video for the first time, we have a whole series of videos that Lynn has done with me. And Lynn, on your website, you have an immense library. So if you want more information, if you want more ideas, more suggestions, understand the science of it. Lynn, before I even contacted you, somebody said, have you ever heard of plasma energy? Well, I'm like, no, but it sounds pretty cool. And I went on your website and saw a few of those videos. I'm like, oh my God, I love this. And so that was the day that I eventually reached out to you and said, I want to share this. And so it's been a great relationship. I absolutely love you and Stephanie. You're almost like my family. You really are. And super grateful to have met you along the way. But there's so many great things that you've done to help people with this product. So I mean, I'm very honored that I've been able to meet you and do this. And Stephanie, we miss you. You know what we have to do, Mom, is we need to get her own Zoom set up so she will have 3 windows up here.
She's got to get another computer. She had a computer death. So,
Okay, well, I'll
and
get
she
that figured
said,
out eventually, but
yeah, we'll get her in on the Zoom calls.
there we
So,
go. All
uh,
right. Well, Lynn, I know I just said this 5 minutes ago, but no, that was like 20 minutes ago. But before we sign off, is there anything you'd like to finish up with?
a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And just do take a look at plasmaenergysolution.com and take a look at our specials. We've got a lot of testimonials, frequently asked questions. Between YouTube and Brighteon channels, I probably have over 250 videos. So
Wow.
yeah, there's all kinds of information. All the ones with Dr. Paul are over on YouTube. And then I switched it over to Brighteon after that. He had something to say about something YouTube thought should be stricken. So after that, I just went, I don't want to lose any more of his videos. So I switched
Yeah.
channels and where I don't have to guard my tongue quite as much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Sean. As always, I love our get-togethers, and this was fun today, sharing all kinds of, it's all about the energy, and
It is.
yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And another great call. And we'll give our best to Stephanie. We'll look for seeing her hopefully sometime here soon. And once again, go to the website down below, Plasma Energy Solution. Email Lynn. And if you have any questions, or email me. And once again, take a look at what's out there. And I'm sure you'll be very happy. So thank you, everybody, once again, for watching our video. Subscribe, share, and we'll see you again soon. And Lynn, stay with me. I'll sign off here, and then I'll stick with you here for just a minute.
All right. Thank you.